The Fin Review, PM's global tech fix for emissions. The Morrison government will spend almost $570 million, Caleb, on attempts to collaborate with other nations to commercialise low emissions technologies with the aim of making a meaningful difference to climate change across the globe. Now, there are targets that are being set at the moment. I mean, the whole China, renewables target, zero emissions by 2060 is fanciful, but a country of our size, 25 million, although we do have a reliance on coal-fired power, clearly the Prime Minister sees this as an issue that's worth fighting for.
Look, it'll be much easier for us to reach net zero emissions than it will a place like China, and we should have no illusions about the fact that China can get up and with all this bluster and tell us what they're going to do, and it's not actually going to happen. But I always come back to, when it comes to climate change and doing things that might mitigate climate change, in the front of our minds needs to be whether what we do is economically advantageous to our country. We could very easily decide we want to have net zero emissions by 2030 or something, and we'll shut down all the coal-fired power plants and we'll have no power and all the bills will go up astronomically and we'll all, live in abject poverty. We could do that if we wanted to do it, but there's no good reason to. You cannot sell your own people up the creek. Now, if what Scott Morrison is looking at is a system whereby we invest in technology that has the benefit of creating jobs and creating industry at the same time as perhaps working towards this target, that would make sense. We have to do things in an economically rational manner. This is what Bjorn Lomborg has been telling us for quite some time and was hounded out of Australian universities for telling us, was there is nothing wrong with moving towards renewable energy and things that might benefit the environment, but we can't do it at the expense of our own people, and we can't do it at the expense of our own economy. So I must say this proposal intrigues me, and I must look into it further, because if what they're working towards is creating industry and jobs and products and technology, that would not seem an altogether stupid way to go about achieving a target.
The Northern Territory News has an interesting splash, COVID fears for Darwin. It also has a story there of the Eels slipping in amid sex scandal. Team flies into Darwin as player embroiled in public toilet incident, which won't make the hierarchy at the NRL all that happy. But the splash says National Cabinet will meet today to discuss a rapidly evolving COVID-19 outbreak in India as Howard Springs sees a record number of active cases from the subcontinent. That's also a story on the front of tomorrow's West Australian, Caleb, where Mark McGowan is also considering looking at the amount of Indians coming into WA. Clearly there's a big issue in India, and it's placing great strain on the hotel quarantine protocols in this country.
Yes, indeed. The only thing I would warn against is if the Northern Territory and WA perhaps want to pull back from their burden in terms of taking people from India, that other states don't have to pick up their slack. Because we know that Victoria pulled back quite significantly in their take of international visitors, or international arrivals, I should say. And New South Wales basically picked up that slack in a huge manner. I mean, they've had hundreds of thousands of people have come through New South Wales. So it's all good and well for one state to say, oh, we don't want them. But if that means that other states have to pick up the slack, that's not terribly fair.